Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle Co. From 7 to 9, come kick with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle Co. It's Tingle Co. From 7 to 9, come kick with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle Co. What up, Lloyd? What up, Lloyd? You can call me him. I'm Shay Dixon in the whip with them RPMs. Gotta pull up to the check and shit out to them. Not trying to ball like Big Four, then get out the gym. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle Co. From 7 to 9, come kick with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle Co. It's Tingle Co. From 7 to 9, come kick with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle.
Let's go. Good morning, everybody. As we are live here, 10:35 on this Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is Sunday here in Omaha. Shout out to all of you joining us this morning. Recovering from the beautiful
Church of Jay Johnson.
The beautiful performance we saw last night. Still a tad bit in awe of that, but it's time to shift the focus. What's that?
Stat.
Oh, whoa, yeah.
I don't want to
Let
get
me
into
hit
it
you
yet,
with
but there
this.
is a stat that you should stick around for.
We've got some numbers to toss at you. Our guy Jason Armstrong from Inside LSU Baseball will possibly be joining us again later on this morning. When I put the text out this morning, the game obviously at 1:30 p.m. today in the Chuck, LSU versus Coastal Carolina.
Get rotated.
LSU has a chance to bring home national championship number 8 with a win today.
Ooh.
It's a great day to bring home number 8, isn't it?
It is a great day to bring home number 8.
LSU will obviously have Anthony Ianson on the mound.
You don't think that they pitch backwards?
Oh, maybe they pitch off. Maybe they throw
Cowan
today.
Go lefty.
And they'll just sit.
You go Cooper Williams.
Yep.
Zach Cowan.
Yep.
Connor Ware.
Yeah, and you close it out.
DJ Primo.
Yep. You go Cowan. No, Cowan's righty, but you go Cowan and then 3 lefties. That's okay. And then you hold.
Then you do the host.
You hold
lefties
Anthony Ianson
for
game 3. Just
game 3.
Shut up. No, you throw Anthony Ianson today. You win this bad boy today. Today is the day to bring home number 8.
Oh.
LSU, obviously, with a legendary performance last night from Cade Anderson, is ahead 1-0 after the 1-0 win over Coastal Carolina. And the Tigers have a chance to clinch it and bring home number 8 today. It'll be a must-see TV pitching matchup between Anthony Ianson and Jacob Morrison.
Jacob Morrison has some stats out there that are pretty impressive.
These are two,
but
I would say.
So does Anthony Ianson.
Yeah, 2 top 10 arms in the country.
Ooh.
And both of these guys, Morrison obviously is 12-0 on the season. They are 17-1 when he's pitching. Anthony Ianson has won 8 straight starts, so something is going to have to give. And it is going to be must watch.
And if you're Coastal, got to restart a streak, huh?
Well, yeah, this is time to figure out how do you respond from losing your first game in 27 games. Coastal Carolina was on a 26-game win streak. That was snapped last night behind the performance of Cade Anderson and the LSU defense, plus a big-time swing of the bat by Stephen Milam. Sorry. LSU was able to snap that 26-game win streak, and now Coastal Carolina has to respond to something they haven't had to respond from in quite a long time, as they won 26 straight baseball games, which is very, very impressive.
Thank you.
And now they have to respond and shake back from a loss. And they're going to be comfortable going into it because of who they have on the mound. I cannot stress enough how much of a big-time pitching matchup this is going to be. Sabrion in the chat, Morrison has faced some weak competition.
Yes.
Well, let me throw a stat, some numbers at you from our guys over at No Chill Sports.
Very valid.
Great page to go check out. Jacob Morrison versus major conference opponents this season averages out with an ERA of 2.03, hits per 9, 7.7, walks per 9, 3.2, strikeouts per 9, 8.9. He has been impressive against major conference opponents. You look at North Carolina, he pitched, I think, 5 innings, gave up a good number of hits, but only allowed 3 earned runs and had 3 strikeouts. Against Auburn, he pitched 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, only 1 earned run, and struck out 6. Against Oregon State, he went 7 2/3, had, let's see how many hits. 5 hits allowed, earned runs. They scored 1 run, and he struck out 7. So that is major conference opponents he has pitched well against. This is one of the 10 best arms in the country. Now, on the other side, LSU has one of the 10 best arms in the country. Cade Anderson is the nation's leader in strikeouts, and the only person still alive that is close to that number is on the same team as him, and it's Anthony Einson, who will be on the bump today for LSU as they go and try to clinch number 8. It'll be a big-time pitching matchup. Lloyd, your expectations, do you expect another low-scoring affair like you saw yesterday, or do you think that push kind of comes to shove and some bats will wake up?
I don't even think – look, there's been – between these two teams, you have LSU, obviously, Coastal Carolina, obviously. 2 home runs both have been hit by Jared Jones. 2 home runs in the entire Omaha have been hit by one person. If anybody's going to lean back on one, to be Jared Jones. And the way the wind was blowing yesterday, where it felt like a couple balls got touched. Well, balls. It felt like a couple of baseballs were hit hard. I don't know if I'll be picking up this.
Couple of balls got touched.
It is Sunday. Yeah. Praise the Lord. A couple of baseballs were hit hard into the wind that did not get out the park, and it feels like that's not going. Like that's just what the case is, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. The ballpark is built the wrong way, but it's hard to rely on a home run ball. Like it's more baseballs in the gap that you expect to see. So if you're going to score runs, that's what it feels like it's going to be. Or Bear Jones. Does it not feel like a Bear Jones like shake back?
Yeah.
Shake that bear?
No, I mean
shake that bear?
Absolutely, we've seen it.
Seen that video?
I have not.
Oh.
But we've seen it.
Pull it up.
You saw it from Arkansas game 1 to Arkansas game 2, where he was a completely different hitter. He adjusted his approach and he swung the bat and he shook back. And I think there could be a similar outcome today, but I think the game is going to be eerily similar to what you saw yesterday. I don't know if it's going to be a 1-0 ball game.
I mean, it's hard to imagine that happens again. Not because of any slight to anybody.
Just probability.
And what, did you see the quote from Cade Anderson? He goes, that was rough.
Yeah, it was, that's what he walked in.
He thinks he didn't pitch well.
Well, he was like, well, I didn't have that many strikeouts. I was like, buddy, you had 10 Ks. He's like, that's.
And it got squeezed on him.
It's pretty darn good. But yeah, no, I mean, I think.
Complete game shutout. Sorry, guys.
Rough.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Should have ended it
Whatever.
faster.
Stop.
He's the best.
Legend. But like we said, you saw it last night. We were saying it going into it. These are 2 teams that are constructed very similarly, right? They didn't make a lot of errors in the infield. When balls were hit to third or short or second, whoever it was fielded, and the play was made. Coastal Carolina made a base running error that ended up costing them. There was a pitching, I guess you could call it, error, where it was just a fastball middle to Stephen Milam, or as the Coastal Carolina head coach likes to say,
walk, and then their 3-hole hitter, Malam gets a 1-2 base hit. He gets a 2-strike base hit with a runner at
Malam.
Chanticleers. He did that shit on purpose.
I had to. But, like I said, there weren't a lot of mistakes there to be capitalized on.
He's insufferable.
And I think it's going to be very similar today.
Agree.
No, of course. That is, I do not like him.
Like, I don't care.
I don't care. I do not like that man. Malam.
You've watched enough. If you're the head goddamn coach, you've watched enough baseball. You know who your opponent is. You're going to do that shit on purpose. Go get your soap and your deodorant and your Axe body spray, brother.
Have fun. But back to baseball. I think it's going to be very similar to last night.
Ugh.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to run the scoreboard up because these are two premier arms in the country.
Christian, do you have any takes?
And very good defense.
Yeah.
The score doesn't get out of hand because there's a great defense on both sides.
You think you see Browsy again?
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, it's
it is too much of a premium in this series to protect your to play clean defense.
If they were going to go Browswell,
and it's not a knock against Reeves or John Pearson in any way whatsoever. Braswell is an extremely talented third baseman. You saw it multiple times last night. And here's the Coastal Carolina coach talking about that.
Say his name right?
He did.
Noah Binick, 11.7. Coach, you mentioned that you had your chances. Is that kind of maybe the reason you get the runners in motion in the third inning? Sebastian Alexander had a really good jump. Just kind of slides over the bag there.
Well, again, let's tip our hat to Anderson. We got first and second in the third, and I think we put down a solid bunt. And, he's calm, cool, collective, makes a play and gets our lead out. Then we put a bunt down later in the game, give Braswell credit. That's a pressure bunt, and he throws the ball over the top, basically over our base runner's left shoulder to collect an out. Really big play, and then give Braswell credit there in the ninth. He's got to range extremely hard to his glove side and make that play in the ninth. There's a reason why they're in this national championship game. There's a reason why they're fielding over 980. You saw it tonight. I mean, they're very big plays and big situations, and you've got to.
What do you have to say?
Thanks for the tap on the head, Coach.
Yeah,
really
put a little
appreciate
pat
it.
on the back there.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're in the national championship game. But the reason of that clip is because you see the effect of Michael Braswell on the opposing coach. There were two specific plays. That's disgusting.
He's disgusting.
He was able to point out and single out of massive plays defensively.
Yeah.
That's why Braswell is on the field.
Congrats on the recall.
Yeah. Braswell fields that bunt, makes a heck of a play.
He was
like
phenomenal.
A major league play on that bunt.
That's what we talked about. We talked about, okay, if you're not going to be able to do it offensively, which is coming, he had put one good swing on it, found a barrel, but he said those are 3 RBI. That's what we said last night, where it's 3 runs that he saved with his defensive effort, and that's why I think you see him again.
Yeah, no, it is too much of a premium to make those plays in this game.
It reminds me because I was talking to Jay Midge last night, and then Mikey's cousin, Robbie, shout out Party Box, shout out the way that we got here. Still need a way home, by the way. Not have that figured out in the least. Somebody mentioned a private plane, and if I get a private plane and Mikey doesn't, that would be I'll retire.
Really? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. No, I just don't have to get paid anymore. I don't get paid right now. Either way. But if I could just have that one flex over him, that would be phenomenal. It's like me out driving him. That will never happen. But his cousin texted me, shout out Robbie, Derek Helenihi. In 2009, he played phenomenal defense. You didn't need anything from him offensively, but what he did at third base was so good that you had to have him play. That's what it feels like Braswell is right now because what's he doing? Saving you runs on the defensive end. The continuity of it all is what makes the most sense to me. Instead of trying to shoehorn Tanner Reeves in, and I don't want to put Reeves in that spot, to be honest.
It's an immense amount of pressure.
Either way.
To put him in. Offensively and defensively.
And that's where Brosky's handled it great.
Yes.
The pressure of, he knows that he wants to perform offensively, but to be able to handle all of this, what's happening around him, and still go out there and play the absolute shit out of third base is such a 2 claps for Brosky for being able to do that because the pressure's immense.
2 claps.
Ready. That's unbelievable to be able to compartmentalize what you have to do.
Right.
And I don't care if I go 0 for 4 at the plate, because so many people take that with you to the defensive side of the field.
Yes.
Like, you've seen outfielders go out there, and they're, like, mock swinging in the outfield, like trying to figure out what just happened. Instead, he goes straight out there, goes to third base, and balls.
No, it's like in basketball, a lot of times, if somebody is not performing well offensively, they'll be lackadaisical on defense. Like, they won't.
Easy foul.
Like
frustration.
Oh, I missed that. Michael Braswell, from a baseball standpoint, it's easy to do the same thing in baseball, where if you're struggling at the dish, like you said, it is easy to let that roll over and carry over into the field. Michael Braswell has not shown any of that once this season.
No.
Never once has the struggles at the plate rolled onto the field.
God, I'd love to
He's
see
been
him
massive.
get one today. That would be
electric.
But honestly, I don't need him to. Don't care.
No,
Just keep doing what you're doing, brother. This is winning baseball. Keep doing it. One more. You got one more right in front of you, stared in the eyes. Look at it. Make love to it.
Boom. And I do want to say a shout out to the fan base.
Yes, it
That
was
first
elite.
AB from Michael Braswell was probably one of the coolest moments I've ever witnessed with my own two eyes from just a sports standpoint in general. Watching him step into the box.
2 outs after a walk, goes up there, and the crowd was like, "Oh, good for the walk." And they're like, "Oh shit, it's Braswell." And it got
Everybody
back up.
in Charles Schwab was on their feet clapping for that young man. And it was beautiful.
And he almost touches one. Like,
And he barreled it up. Like you see like the confidence that can be instilled in a player just from cheers by the fan base.
Yeah.
And
It
shout
feels
out.
good to be believed in.
Yes. And so it's going to be a big-time matchup today. I think Braswell's in the field again because of what he does. It is going to be the same premium on defense today as it was last night because these are two premier arms going at it, and you want Anthony Einson to be pitching with the same confidence that Cade Anderson had last night from a I know what I've got behind me standpoint.
Yes.
And I think the guys you've had in the field, I think you're going to roll out the same exact guys into the field again today because
Tomorrow afternoon. Today afternoon.
1:30.
Praise be to
at
He.
1:30. Come on. Because you want that confidence from your pitcher of saying they can float it in the outfield. My God, Derek Curiel, Chris Stanfield, Jake Brown are going to track it down. Those are track stars in the outfield. Michael Braswell, Stephen Milam, Daniel Dickinson are going to field it and make the play. And Bear Jones is going to continue to show off defensively. We were talking about it last night. I think a lot of times because of what it looked like with Trey Morgan at first base, which is the greatest defensive first baseman I think I've ever laid my eyes on in it ever. It looks a little different for Bear Jones because he's 6'5", 250, and he's not doing a complete split and making these over the head.
He's not doing tricks on it.
He's not Trey Morgan. Bear Jones is an excellent defender at first base.
He's also been able to make plays that, Trey Morgan probably wouldn't be able to, which is a weird thing to say, but like the liner against Arkansas that feels like it's going to be touched right down the corner because he's 6'5", 230, able to move like a deer, like is able to go up and get one.
Well, and the play yesterday where he caught the ball.
And makes the
Right.
tag like he's he's a freak show.
Yes, he's a great defender at first base.
If there was, like you said, if there wasn't a Trey Morgan before him, but I think he deserves his flowers for what he's done defensively because whether it be being able to move like the 90-10 rule that we talked about, where he's like has a great feel for the position, know when to go get a ball, go back to first base, all those things, like be able to field a bunt, be able to put a tag down, all that stuff, like that moves mountains for you, and it's just incrementally. It's little things that you add up. We talk about like putting something in the bucket. Defensively, he did it again yesterday.
Yeah, no, consistently has, and they've been excellent defensively, and I think that it's going to continue to be. Luis Hernandez behind the dish,
Happy.
has been from start to finish of this season.
And that's something we didn't talk about enough.
Excellent.
Yes.
Has been a heartbeat of this team, and came in as he was a DH at Indiana State. You didn't know if he was going to catch. You didn't really know what you were going to get out of him this
The amount
season.
of
And
games he caught was not catcher.
Right. He has answered so many questions going into the season.
Crazy.
Like the same way we talk about Curiel and being like, he answered the question of leadoff, outfield, all of those things. Luis Hernandez has been the same thing.
And you've seen the toll that it's taken on him a little bit
Of
offensively,
course.
but he's still able to put good swings on baseballs. And whenever he like offensively, whenever he shows up, it's lanyap. But it also is such a luxury to have him be able to do both. Because if I'm pitching, if I'm going against LSU, I'm still circling him in the lineup.
Of course. He had 23
you
jacks last year.
That's what I'm saying. You can't really just go after him.
No.
Because he'll make you pay.
Well, and he's done it consistently.
Yeah.
He put a great swing on a ball last night to get, I think it was Milam to third after his walk. Like, he put a heck of a swing on that ball. Doug Barrentos in the chat, Hernandez quietly has been really good behind the plate. Yeah, and then defensively, he has been excellent. Like, has been massive on, like,
For somebody that doesn't catch.
that swing and miss strikeouts. Like, Anthony Ionson's strikeout pitch is a dirt ball, a curve ball into the dirt that they're swinging at, and he's blocking it up every time. Has been absolutely
just watch
excellent.
It when it happens.
The throw he makes to Braswell at third base when Braswell plays through the whistle, makes the tag. Like,
well, that's what I wanted to bring
massive.
up. Is because, dude, I sent you I actually did research because I was.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was. I started to look at the numbers. I always go grab a little sheet and I look at it and I go, who's hitting under 300, who's not, whatever. And then I started to look at the stolen bases, like, holy shit, they try to steal a ton of bags, and they have a 75% success rate on it. And I was like, what is it? 2 in the lineup and 9 in the lineup are trying to run. And who was the first guy to steal a bag?
Alexander.
And then they were, like,
The
easy.
left fielder.
And I was like, okay, let's see if they try to do this against LSU, because K does a phenomenal job, whether it be a lefty or not. But he does a phenomenal job of mixing up tempo, timing, and, like pace and space of it's so hard to get a read on him. And he'll pick off 2 times in a row. Right. And then he won't pick off for 8 pitches in a row. Like, he has you on your toes to where it's so hard to steal a bag. They got a great jump. Throw to second, not in time, and you're like, okay, they're going to start running a little bit because that's how they create offense. When we talk about putting pressure on a defense, Coastal can do that. They try to steal third, and that's a bang-bang play.
Yes,
and
massive.
they're trying to force offense in a game where they scored 0 runs because when you start to feel that against great pitching, Anthony Ionson's going to have to do the same thing and be able to look, check, go, don't go, just keep eyes on them because that's how you steal bags is whenever somebody falls into a routine of I only check twice, only check once. And it's like, dude, they've only looked over here 1 time, 3 times in a row. I'm going on the 4th one.
Yeah.
You have to be able to keep eyes on that to take pressure off your catcher. That's how you're able to throw breaking balls in the dirt. That's how you're able to go off speed. That's how you're able to mix up what you want to throw because they're timing all that shit up too. Like you have a coach over there with a stopwatch that's going, how quick is he to home? Okay. How many times does he check over here? Then he makes the call or the player will look at a coach and go, hey, I'm going. It's like, okay, good. Yeah, we're all good. Take this pitch. If it's a 2-0 count, and Ionson, who pitches backwards a ton, don't be surprised to see them go on an 0-0 count and try to steal a bag if they get on base.
Yeah. Jacob Morrison will be on the bump for Coastal Carolina. He's got a 2.08 ERA. He is 12-0 on the season. He's pitched 104 innings, 102 strikeouts to 22 walks. Very similar to the stat line we saw from Cameron Flukie last night, except the ERA is a good bit better for Morrison. He has only allowed 7 home runs, only allowed 24 runs on the season, 73 hits, and batters are hitting 194 against him. And on top of that, they didn't use what's his name, Ryan Lynch, their closer. He's got 9 saves on the season. They did not throw him last night. He's got a .58 ERA in 27 appearances, which is beyond impressive. I'm pretty sure if it's a tight game, you will see him as well. They've got Hayden Johnson, who is a lefty out of the pen with 23 appearances on the season. You will probably see him as well if you're LSU. But their mindset is going to be Morrison all the way, probably pretty similarly to what you saw LSU's mindset with Cade Anderson was last night, where it is, this is your game. You are the guy. You are our ace. Go win it. I think that's going to be Coastal Carolina's mindset with Jacob Morrison. They only threw 2 arms last night, so they've got, like the same conversation with LSU, they've got their bullpen. 2 of their best bullpen arms are going to be ready to go in Hayden Johnson and Ryan Lynch tonight. Ryan Lynch is obviously the closer, like I said, .58 ERA. He's got 35 strikeouts to 10 walks. Hayden Johnson is their go-to lefty out of the pen. He has 52 strikeouts to 72 walks. I would imagine you'll see probably both of those guys, but I think their mindset is going to be Jacob Morrison, lead us to victory. It is they're back against the wall. They need to win to stay alive. And they've got their best guy going on the bump.
You get Jay Mitchell on? He'll up on for 5 to 10.
Let's do it.
You got to call him.
Here.
His number is.
Ha. There you go. Oh, not FaceTime with my dad.
You sure?
Here you go.
You talk to your dad.
But yeah, we're gonna have Jared Mitchell
would be
join us
nice.
to talk LSU baseball real quick. Preview the matchup between LSU and Coastal Carolina this afternoon. Paulie Z, good morning. Carl Dunn, how are we doing? Kenny Balala, let's go Tingpins. Appreciate you. Kimberly P Dub, Sabrion, Jerry Berche TFL, I believe. You talk to him real quick before, just so he knows he's going live. But yeah, we're about to have Jay Mitch join us, LSU legend, to talk some LSU baseball.
About to be live on Tingle Co, brother. It's Lloyd. I'm the Co. Here, I'm about to put you on speaker. We're live. No, it's just a phone call. Yeah, I mean, you look good anyway. Brother. Oh, what? Actually, hop on the video call then.
Sicko.
All right, you're live. Jay Mitch in the chat.
Let's go.
In the phone, naked in bed. What's up, brother?
Whoa, yo. What's going on over here?
Yeah, hey.
Dog.
Welcome to the show.
How you boys living, man? Y'all all right?
Doing good.
I smell like a cigar.
Do you?
Yeah, Bocock Brothers. Can't beat it.
I smell like a champion right now. That's what I smell like.
Oh. Hey,
What you boys doing, man? Y'all ready for a good one today or what?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Anthony Einstein on the bump. How you feeling?
Feel great about it. You got a chance to win a national championship with Anthony Einstein on the bump today. Not many better opportunities you could have being in the college baseball world today.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to not be confident with him on the mound. Talk about from a hitting standpoint, though, obviously LSU will be facing Jacob Morrison, but what did you see from the bats last night? Obviously, it wasn't the prettiest performance offensively, but they'll be turning around and facing another really good arm from Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, Coastal Carolina's got a very good pitching staff. I think everybody kind of knows that. That's what they do. I mean, it's about outlasting the other team, right? Like, at this point, it'd be great to sit up there and see 10 runs on 14 hits, but if it's all for naught and you don't get a W, it doesn't matter. So whether it's 3, 4, 5 hits like it was last night, or 1 run, or 15 runs, you take a dub anywhere you can get it. So it's all about just executing and being better than the opposition. That's the game plan today.
And then what type of challenges did you see the Coastal Carolina lineup kind of present last night that you think will roll over today with Anthony Einstein on the mound?
They battle. I mean, they got to be in that battle. They made outs hard. I mean, look, listen, K threw a complete game shutout. Yes, he did, but he also threw 130 pitches. So it's not like he just absolutely mowed through them. They made him work for it, and he worked for it, and guess what? He still got it done. So they're going to battle. Again, today, they understand that their back's against the wall. They understand that one loss means season's over, and they can't extend it into Game 3. So I expect them to come out there and play their butts off again, right? I expect them to come balling and ready to go. It'll be a good game tonight because, you have a chance to close it out on one side, and on the other side, you want to extend the season. There's a little bit of desperation on both. I would imagine more desperation on the Coastal side, which usually is a good recipe for making a very tightly contested ball game.
Yeah, and I mean, Coastal Carolina obviously took down Auburn in the Supers, and that's what I think a lot of LSU fans have probably looked at for a comparison. What did you see in that series, and then from Coastal Carolina throughout the College World Series and through yesterday, that make them so dangerous?
Well, so when they got to the Auburn series this first time, I was like, all right, I kind of really want to see what we truly got here. And they went on the road, and they soundly beat a very good Auburn team. And they did it not necessarily by just pitching. They got a lot of timely hits. Whenever Auburn threw a punch, they threw 2 right back, and they landed them. Like, that's what they did. So, like, they counterpunched. They got in front of you early. They kind of stepped on the gas when they needed to and buried the hatchet when they needed to. They played a very complete series that weekend, and they've been doing that throughout this week. I mean, like, think about what just happened last night. 1-0 ball game.
Right.
1-0 ball game, right? Like, it's a good ball club. They're going to keep playing the same way. And I would imagine one loss to this team isn't going to bring them down. They'll be ready to go today.
And then the mindset for LSU going into tonight, obviously having an opportunity to lock it up, bring home number 8. What is that feeling like ahead of a game like this, where you're going to be on the biggest stage with a chance to bring the thing home?
I mean, people can be feeling a lot of things. I think it's up to, the coaches and the team to kind of come together. And I want to say, bring yourself to kind of feeling like, hey, this is the closeout game. Like, don't sit here and think that we got another one if we don't get this one. Yeah, obviously you do, but you have to treat it like this is the closeout game. And understand, too, at the same time, if you don't, it ain't the end of the world. But you need to come in with a sense of urgency as if you are the club that's on the losing end of things right now. And I think when you're able to do that, the quicker you're able to do that in the game, the more you kind of nullify everything that the other team is going to bring at you and how they are going to approach it.
How much confidence does a performance by Kate Anderson give you rolling into the next day? Obviously, he's not going to be able to throw on the bump, but to win a game 1-0, which LSU has been able to show you to win a multitude of ways, how much kind of does that give you going back into the locker room, going into day 2, where you're like, boys, feels pretty good to win that way, and now you have your de facto other ace go on the mound today?
I mean, I don't think it varies.
You don't think it's demoralizing at all?
No, not for who? For them?
No, for Coastal, absolutely.
No, not at all, bro. Like, if I won 26 straight games in a row, and I finally lose my first game, and it's a 1-0 loss, I feel great.
Okay.
I would feel great on the other side saying that. Like, that's what it took to finally knock us off our streak. That's what it took from a guy that's probably going to go 1-1 to finally beat us. I don't think that they're demoralized at all. I think they feel great about what – if you're going to lose a ball game to another team, and I don't care who that team is, I'm pretty okay with the 1-0 ball game and knowing that we didn't kick it around the field, knowing that we didn't just have a million strikeouts. Like, they battled, man. They played a good ball game. They just ran into an absolute dog on the mound, right? And that happens in baseball.
Absolutely. That's what I wanted to hear. And we had a little conversation yesterday. I want to get your thoughts on this before you go. Just the Daniel Dickinson play. Whenever he gets hit in the box, obviously we had a little debate about it. What do you think about that rule in college baseball, the fact that it's being able to be reviewed and now that's just a strike instead of just like a no pitch or a ball or whatever it should be? How do you think that plays? Because Coastal Carolina gets hit by a ton of pitches. You saw it happen twice yesterday. Daniel Dickinson tries to take one, ultimately gets called a strikeout on a 3-2 count that was no doubt a ball regardless.
So I'm under the impression at this point now, like, this is where I am when I watch that call is – last I checked, the inside of the batter's box doesn't go into the corner of the plate, so there's grace room right there. Right, there's space to be used right there. Right. I think if the batter is inside the batter's box, if the part that gets hit is not hanging outside the batter's box, if you want to leave that up for judgment, I'm fine with it. But if a batter's inside the batter's box, he shouldn't have to move and he shouldn't have to do anything in terms of getting out of the way of a pitch to get hit. He should even be able to try to get hit by a pitch if a pitch is that far in to him, right? Because to me, I don't think it's very fair to sit there and say, hey, here's a pitcher. I can go paint. I can get 0-2 and I can throw one at your head to move you and then go back to paint. That doesn't make any sense. If you don't like guys getting known when they get hit, then throw the ball over the plate. I think that's pretty simple, and I think you should use that. And if you want to be able to move people, then you better be able to use that corner to the edge of the white line to move people, which is very hard to do. I think if it got approached that way, it would put a lot more action pitches into the game. It would put a lot more pitches over the plate and people staying kind of in that tube of what is the strike zone going up and down. I think you would get a lot more of that, and you would get less of having to try to figure out, like, because think about it. I mean, like, you're in what's called the batter's box. So, like, if I'm in the batter's box, I should be able to do what I want as long as I don't have it hanging outside of the box. That's just me at this point.
No, I mean, it's called that for a reason, right? Like, I own that real estate, and I think it's been overcomplicated to a point where it's very simple, honestly.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I see it now. Like, we're trying to figure out if he did move, because there's a world where rolling into a pitch in terms of not getting hit, like, kids are taught to roll into pitches. That way you're not getting hit in, like, the chest area or, like, opened up. So now that's being construed. Did the elbow chicken wing out a little bit? Did he lean into it? Like, that's just too much at this point. I think that if you really want to have a judgment call, let's just judge on if he's out of the box when he got hit or not.
Or take away the elbow.
Is whatever hanging outside of the box when he gets hit or not. So if you're that guy that likes to stand on top of the plate and you get as close as you can and your feet are toed up on the edge of that line and now all of your elbows and everything's hanging out over the plate and you get hit, that's on you, right?
Yeah.
Get off the plate. Get off the plate. But if I don't have everything hanging out over the plate and I'm getting hit in the box, That shouldn't be, well, did he move? Did he try to get out of the way, or did he try to get hit? Yeah, who cares? He's in the box. Throw the ball over the plate if you don't want to. It's not a strike. Throw the ball over the plate if you don't want him to get it. I think that's pretty simple.
I agree. I've got one last one. Defense is obviously of a premium in this series. You saw it last night. Talk about the defense that you saw last night from both sides, and then following it up with Michael Braswell and the job he did at third base last night, the plays that he made that helped get LSU to win that game.
I mean, both teams played very good defense last night. For the most part, obviously, especially towards the back half of the game. But if I want to go to Braswell at the end of the game, like that is the exact definition of what it means to have to play a full game, right? It doesn't matter if you're in a slump hitting. It doesn't matter when guys are struggling at the plate, but still can go out on defense and make those kind of plays, especially the kind of play that he made in the ninth, tells you a lot about that mental makeup and what he's bringing to the field. Because it ain't easy to do that. There's a lot of guys that can't carry the negatives of an at-bat, or that carry the negatives of an at-bat onto the defensive side. And you don't usually get whatever that player's top end of their defensive abilities are, you don't usually get that when they're struggling at the plate, right? Because people are sitting here thinking about hitting and mad, and they're not ready to play. When a guy can kind of separate those things and still go give you defense, it shows you how impressive he is. And that, on top of that, he's a plus defender. So it's very obvious Jay, for a long time this year, he's put a premium on what he's getting defensively at that position. And he does some of these things with such ease that people don't realize the difficulty of some of the plays that he makes.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Can I bring up a name? Derek Helenihi, just in the College World Series aspect of somebody that you absolutely trust going to third base?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, it matters, man. Like
you saw it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That hot corner, like, it does a lot for a pitcher when he can go out there knowing that balls that get beat in the dirt, top spin, all of this stuff over there, guys are making the play, picking the ball, giving good feeds, throwing good throws across the diamond and getting out. You can save a lot of runs off of playing really good third base. And Derek Helenihi was another guy that did it, obviously, on a championship team.
Before we get you out of here, expectations for today, LSU versus Coastal Carolina, 1:30 in the Chuck. What are you expecting to see between these two teams?
I'm expecting to see another tight ball game. I do wonder now, in terms of both starters, like when the starters come out, whenever that is there going to be an extra bit of runs? Kind of like we saw in that last LSU-Arkansas game. Is that the time, well, I won't say the wheels fall off, but is that the time when there's more pitches left over the plate? Maybe there's more hard contact that's made. And also another thing, too, that I think this part that's going to play into. And, Lloyd, we talked about this the other day. The shadows in a 6 o'clock, 6:30 game are real, my brother. And until there's no shadows, it becomes really hard to hit. Well, it's a 1:30 game today. There won't be any shadows. So I expect it to be tightly contested, maybe not super low scoring like we saw last night, but I want to see at that time when the starters come out, where does the game go?
Well, Jay Mitch, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you in Charles Schwab.
See you in the Chuck. Well, I think
Yes,
he's in the suites. He's going to be up top doing something cool.
Damn, why you do that? Why you got doing that?
Hey, just find me an extra ticket, cuz. I'll come sit with you.
Hey, why you do that?
You're the best, Jay Mitch. Thank you for hopping on.
All right, fellas.
The man of Mic'd Up, SEC Network, LSU, two-time national championship in football and baseball,
legend.
as he heard a million times yesterday.
Right. LSU legend Jay Mitch joined us. Great insight. SEC Network.
Nobody talks the way he does, dude.
I mean, when he gets dialed in, like an answer and a thought process, it is like Albert Einstein at work.
It's just like the brain works at such a rapid rate. It makes me feel so dumb all the time. Like, I have conversations with him all because he loves to talk ball, and I love to pick his brain. And it becomes very quickly, Lloyd, you might be the dumbest person I've ever talked to. Like, okay, I'm trying to learn. And he has helped me a ton. Mikey's helped me a ton to where they've forgotten more ball than I know. But pull the picture back up, bro. Flip it real quick. That's Game 3 of the College World Series right there. First inning.
Dog.
Like, motherfucker's been there, done that.
Yeah.
He knows what it's like.
He knows the ins and the outs. I loved listening to his discussion on the mindset of LSU going into the closeout game, or when you still could have an extra one of like, no, forget Monday.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to get there.
This is win or go home today.
Yeah.
And then the mindset of Coastal Carolina of like,
No,
it took a one like that was
That's
such
a great
good perspective.
answer. Yeah.
Such good perspective because
Someone say a great question.
I think a lot of people would have the mindset of like this could be demoralizing to Coastal Carolina to lose in that fashion. Streak ends, you were rolling, and then you got dominated the way you did last night.
3 hit.
I think their mindset is going to be exactly.
No, he
what Jay
changed
Mitch
my
said.
mind.
I think it's going to be exactly the way Jay Mitch.
Like it takes
set it
something
up.
like that, a seminal performance,
Right.
to make us lose a 1-0 ball
such
game.
an easy
I would
way.
love to see anybody else but Cade Anderson.
Right.
Like,
right.
let's
It's the best
restart
pitcher in the
streak right
country.
now.
He's
Yeah,
going to be pitching for the Nationals in a
week.
year. Like, I think 1,000% the way Jay Mitch framed that answer is what Coastal Carolina's mindset is going to be of.
And that's the mindset of a competitor, somebody that's done it before.
Yes.
Like, bro, it took that for us to lose? Good luck doing that again.
Yeah, and that's
and that's on both sides. Like LSU is also doing like what? How many hits did they have?
Who, LSU?
Yeah,
6.
6 hits, and they put another thing we didn't talk about yesterday that we mentioned before the show is what LSU put 9 people on base, 7 or 9.
Let's see. I'll find the stats.
Because we talked about it yesterday with like what 2 hit by pitches.
What? Oh no, yeah, 5 walks, 2 hits.
But, yeah,
2 hit
7
by
guys on base.
Seven.
They had 7 guys that LSU stranded because Cade Anderson's a straight up dog.
Yeah.
But like once it got tight, he just buckled down. But if you're on LSU side of it, like of this conversation where Coastal Carolina feels very confident about, damn, it took a masterclass. Everything that we were saying yesterday, all-time performance, right? Like if LSU wins, it goes down in the history books. And like it took that to beat us 1-0. If you're on LSU side, if you're the offense, like, bro, we got to score some runs.
Right, right.
Okay, they had a similar performance too. We still won, but this is an LSU offense that puts up runs, brother. Like, we've been scoring in Omaha. Like, let's go get our guys some help. Let's go give Anthony Ianson some run support and let him do his deal because you've seen Anthony, whether it was against UCLA 3-0, LSU responds. Like, for some reason, the LSU offense picks up, and you're going up against a guy that Coastal Carolina saved, but needed to because of the pitch count. But he's coming in fresh. Like, you're going against their best arm, and I'll take Anthony Ianson over anybody.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing that they have confidence going in. Like, it's our guy, game 2. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about the Boston Red Sox stuff. It's like, don't let us get to this. But if you're LSU, you have Anthony Ianson going, and that's the other thing of the Boston Red Sox. We got Pedro, we got Kurt Schilling.
Right.
And you got your Kurt Schilling going. You got your number 1, number 2. I'd line it up with anybody with him on the mound.
Anybody. The same amount of confidence I had going into last night with Cade Anderson on the mound, I'm right there right now with Anthony Ianson going on the mound.
Absolutely.
That is the best.
And you should be.
It is the best 1-2
Even
in
if
college
he gives
baseball.
up 2 in the first. LSU away team, by the way.
Yes, they will be at the dish first. And
Give him,
the number,
dude, get some run support.
Right, the number we threw at you yesterday, 37-2. Coastal Carolina is when they score first this season. Obviously, that record is not hindered last night. LSU scores first and the only score of the game. And so that will be something to pay attention to again tonight with LSU batting first and Coastal Carolina. If they don't strike and Coastal Carolina does, more times than not, 37 out of 39 times, Coastal Carolina has won those baseball games. And so it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on as LSU and Coastal Carolina get it started at 1:30 p.m. today in the Chuck. We are about 2 hours and 15 minutes from game time. Our guy Inside LSU Baseball is free if we want to
Why
get him
not?
in.
Absolutely.
We'll get some more information from our guy Jason Armstrong to discuss LSU versus Coastal Carolina today. With LSU having a chance to bring home number 8 after what was an electric performance last night, and it'll be another big-time game. Must-see TV pitching matchup. The pitching matchup delivered last night, obviously, with Fluky versus Anderson. Delivered Fluky and Carbone versus Anderson. All 3 of those guys pitched excellent, and I think it's going to be a very similar spot today between Anthony Ianson and Jacob Morrison. And this is go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, but we talked about the way that they're so similarly built.
Yes.
And you saw it yesterday where it is literally like punch, counter punch. Like, this thing is going to go to decision. They ain't no knockouts.
Yeah.
Like, these are 2 teams that are so highly skilled at what they do. No mistakes anywhere. One run. Like, and LSU that's incredible what Cade Anderson did.
Yep. And speaking of that, here's Jay Johnson talking about it.
starting the game for LSU. Can you talk about his impact on the program?
He's the best pitcher in college baseball. You know, I mean, we had the best pitcher on the planet 2 years ago in a similar situation, and I felt like Cade's had a very similar season to that, and that's how you get here. And you know, I'm really proud of him, and I think the commonality between the two is the person, you know, the character, the toughness, the team first attitude. And yeah, you're probably right. I mean, his next pitch should be for some place in the Washington Nationals organization. It's not close, and they usually draft really well. And he's the best player in the country. You know, I mean, there's nobody closer to the major leagues than that right now. But I don't think you can quantify it. You know, just, you know, Paul Skeens, Joe Burrow, you know, that type of deal.
I mean, we had the discussion last night of just like what you've witnessed from we were talking about LSU football quarterback standpoint, from Burrow to Daniels. Now you go from Skeens to Anderson, where you have the best quarterback in the country in a 5-year stretch, and then now the best pitcher in the nation in a 3-year stretch of just absolute dominance, man.
I mean, we talked about it longer than I care.
Yeah, I mean,
we last night, because I mean, that's your guy, and we were trying to find the comparison between Cade Anderson, Paul Skeens' career, Joe Burrow versus Jaden Daniels to Garrett Nussmeier. It was all over the map. Like, we really should have maybe this whole thing mic'd up the entire time, because we went to bed doing it.
I mean, we don't have to get into it, but it's definitely due for a show.
Doing it.
Hey,
No,
Jason,
don't do it.
Do it. Clone.
appreciate you carving some time out for us again this morning.
We're good.
That doesn't work, remember?
Yeah, it does. I mean, a little bit.
Nope.
At all?
At all.
Sounds good.
At all. Do you want?
Yep, we've got our guy Jason Armstrong from @Inside LSU Baseball, the Inside LSU Baseball podcast, joining us again. He dropped some knowledge yesterday, getting ready for that game, and obviously it was a masterclass from Cade Anderson, and we are going to get you set up for LSU versus Coastal Carolina at 1:30 p.m. today. Jason, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, guys.
Good. I appreciate you carving some time out for us to talk some ball. Let's get it started with last night. Just give me your overall takeaways from LSU's 1-0 victory over Coastal Carolina.
Well, shows you how much I know, man. I thought LSU was going to score 8 runs, but you know, it was a pitcher's duel. I mean, you had 2 elite arms going at it, and you know, it looked early on like Cade Anderson just didn't have his normal command, and so that was something early on that you were like, man, this is a bad time for maybe Cade Anderson to not have his best ability to locate the ball, and against a team that you know, you give up some base runners and that makes them dangerous. But what a gutsy performance! I mean, he just really showed who he is. That a guy without his best stuff able to shut down a team on that stage, a complete game shutout. I love those type of games. I know there's people that don't like games; they'd rather see a bunch of home runs. I enjoyed. I think every pitch in that game mattered. Now, I don't enjoy, you know, almost having a heart attack like that the entire game, but I thought it was just 2 really good pitchers, and like they always say, you know, good pitching beats good hitting. And when a guy is on like that, and I'm talking about Fluky, when he's on like that and he's locating pitches, and when you're looking fastball, he's throwing slider. It's just very hard to get in a groove. And before you know it, you look up and it's the 7th inning. So, but look, they did what they've done all year. They did enough. They can win any type of game. And so yeah, you're in a good spot.
And then moving towards this afternoon, 1:30 first pitch between LSU and Coastal Carolina. I feel like the discussion will probably be eerily similar when you're talking from a pitching standpoint. You saw a duel between Fluky and Anderson yesterday, and today you've got 2 of the best in the country again between Morrison and Ianson.
Yeah. I think the advantage to me it goes LSU's way, and I'll tell you why. Jacob Morrison he's in stature, he's a little bigger than Fluky, doesn't throw quite as hard, but he's a great pitcher. But he's a very similar, in ways look to Fluky. So, LSU just sat there and saw a big right-hander with a, mid to upper 90s fastball with a good breaking ball, for pitch against them. And now the next day they're going against another guy that's kind of similar. Whereas Coastal Carolina just saw this lefty that's, predominantly a fastball pitcher who showed him a lot of other things, of course. He had 2 breaking balls and changeup, but, he makes his money off the fastball. And now they're going to have to see this right-handed pitcher who has just disgusting off-speed pitches. So it's a lot different look for Coastal today, whereas LSU is going to see something that's fairly similar.
And when you talk about Coastal and their ability to run the bases, you saw them try to take a couple bags yesterday. How much does that impact, do you think, Anthony Einson's ability to pitch backwards, where they kind of know that if it's an 0-0 count, you can go off speed, you can try to take a bag early? Do you think that bears any weight in what LSU does with their pitching strategy?
I think it's a big deal. More so just the way that a right-handed pitcher has a disadvantage compared to a left-handed pitcher holding runners. Right. Because they will run. And look, just college catchers in general, they're not throwing out guys running, who are trying to steal. I mean, it's just rare that you throw runners out. So I do think that one thing that does concern me about a team like Coastal is that a walk or a single can turn into a double really fast, because that guy gets on first base, they're trying to get him to second. And even if it's 2 outs, you got a guy that gets to second. No, and then now you got 1 base hit, 1 bloop, and they're scoring. Whereas LSU's just not going to do that. They get, they're not going to steal. So it takes more hits to score. So yeah, I do think that that's a big difference, having a right-handed pitcher out there. But I think the worst thing Ianson can do is get out there and go, okay, I got to be quicker to home plate. Yeah, man, because then you start, it starts altering your mechanics and the way that you pitch. He just needs to get out there and do his thing. He pitches great out of trouble. So he just needs to do what he always does.
And then from the lineup standpoint, obviously, like you said, they're facing a similar pitcher to what they saw yesterday. What are you expecting the bats to be able to do today without maybe some of those shadows that happen in a 6 p.m. first pitch versus a 1:30? What are you expecting from the LSU offense today?
Wind blowing.
Yeah, is the wind blowing out today or in?
It looked like it was blowing out to left field.
Yeah, a little crosswind to left field. It looked like more out than in today.
So different than yesterday?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, well, I mean, what was the question again?
Yeah, the LSU offense. Like you said, they're facing a similar pitcher.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is just to get going early. Don't let this guy get in the groove where, he's 4 innings in and, he's racking up the strikeouts and you got a couple hits. Because then this is one of those, emotional guys, like Liam Doyle or, that's going to start, doing all the theatrics and getting their dugout pumped up. Just get going early and see what you can do. I think yesterday it just came down to, we were guessing. I think we were looking. There were a couple at bats that I was like, man, those aren't good at bat. The Jones, I think his first one, Stanfield, even Brown, I think they all took fastballs right down the middle. And then I think Jones struck out on a slider. Right. But it looked like we were kind of guessing. And the bad part is he was getting them out in 3 pitches. So you're not getting to see a lot of pitches. So you come up the next time and it's like, man, I only saw 2 fastballs and 1 slider out his hand. You're not, like Currial, he's at least working 5-6 pitches. The next time he comes up, he's got a little bit more feel. So I think you just got to get going a little earlier. I mean, look, that's just how it goes some days. All right. And, yesterday just wasn't a great day. It doesn't mean they can't come out today and jump on this guy. I mean, if you look at it from just like talent, this guy Jacob Morrison is the Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year. His ERA is lower, all that good stuff. But like Cameron Fluke's a first rounder next year. He's slated like between that like 20th to 25th pick in the draft next year. Jacob Morrison's more like 150 to 170. He's more of like a fifth rounder, fourth to fifth, something like that. Now that could go up, of course, but like that's where he's been slated. So talent wise, when you talk about draft potential, the guy you faced yesterday is the guy that at least MLB teams think more highly of. Again, that doesn't mean anything. The guy can still come out of there today, and yeah, you're gonna have to put some things together. But that's all right. Look, you shake off yesterday. I do love the fact that our left-handed bats. I just really believe in them. I love Milam from the left side. Obviously, we talked about Jake Brown. I think we have some really good left-handed options. Whereas when they go lefty, if you've got a guy not seeing it, you don't have a lot of guys off the bench that you can bring in that are right-handed options. So just do what you can off of Morrison. I think their best reliever didn't pitch yesterday. Yep. That's Hayden. I believe it's Hayden Johnson. So you'll most likely see him at some point. But yeah, look, it's a new day, and Jay will have him prepared, and I don't see us going out there today and getting totally shut down again.
Well, Jason, we appreciate your time again this morning, all of your insight. You crushed it once again. Get ready. We're ready to watch LSU win it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep.
I am interested in a couple of things that he said about LSU's offensive approach, because that's what they've done all year.
What?
Take pitches.
Yeah, I mean that's who they are.
Force you into a box to throw strikes and be able to go. We played so much MLB this show. Perfect. Like they wanted to see middle, perfect. Oh, it's a perfect ball. It's perfect.
Oh, what do we just hit a perfect?
Oh, that's a ball.
But yeah, no, I mean that's been their approach all year.
Yeah, that's
I don't
it's
see
so
that
contingent on the
changing.
strike zone, which is crazy.
Right.
That who's behind the plate? Like, what, he had Jeff Head yesterday? Apparently he was good.
He wasn't behind the plate,
really
huh?
The zone
I thought he was
at first base. Maybe he was behind the plate. I don't know.
I thought I heard that.
I don't know. I have no idea where he was. I was in the press box listening to
you should know. It's probably on the sheet.
Let's see it. Look, it is probably on the other side of this.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It'll tell you.
Our umpires we had. Yeah, first base was Jeff Head. Home plate was Brian DeBrouwer.
Well, get
Second
him out
base,
of here.
Gregory Street, and third base, Casey Moser.
Was Jeff Head the guy who K'd up Ethan Fry on the appeal? Did they appeal?
Are you talking about yesterday?
Swing? Yeah, the check swing.
No, I don't think they appealed. But yeah, no, I mean,
idiot.
We'll see.
Why don't you remember the game and stop getting kicked out by old women?
I can't remember if he appealed or not.
Yeah, because you were too busy cursing at old ladies trying to get them into hospice.
Yeah, I knew when she
got to send her to an early grave.
When she got up and started walking past us, I knew
where she was going and who she was talking about.
I knew she was going to rat on Christian.
She was
How do you think they rotate this? Do you think there's any rhyme or reason?
I have no idea.
Like, do you go from third base to home plate?
I would rather that than first base to home plate.
Head was good. Head's always good. I love Head.
Get out of here. But yeah, LSU
Sunday,
versus Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, no better day to get it.
LSU versus Coastal Carolina at 1:30 p.m. in Charles Schwab today. I'm fired up, man. We're about 2 hours away from first pitch. We
need to get out there.
Yeah, we're about to get ready. We're going to shut this down, get
ready. We're all going to shower together at the same time.
Yes.
Finally.
I already showered this morning.
I've showered. You dropped a coffee?
I did drop a coffee.
Christian, who needed it more than anyone.
No, he's fine.
No, I am tired. Went to bed at 3.
There's Red Bulls over there.
I was walking through the kitchen this morning where he's sleeping, and I was like, oh, he's in a bad spot.
Yeah, he is.
I was fine. I just went to bed at 3.
Yeah.
Me too.
MLB The Show.
Went to bed at 4.
But
yeah, you were sleeping when I came home.
No, I was talking to girls.
Yeah, sure.
When it'll be the show you're playing online against girls, and you lost.
I've got my Xbox, honeys.
Sit down.
Oh, do you want to talk about your Xbox?
Lineup prediction. Any changes in the lineup today, guys?
Be a second.
Running it the same
maybe
way.
I think you might move Fry down.
Drop Fry down.
I would.
Yesterday the lineup was Curiel, Fry, Milam, Brown, Jones, Hernandez, Stanfield, Dickinson, Braswell.
Don't do it that way.
Don't do what? What
My
way?
brain stops listening after the first.
Okay.
Name.
Leadoff was Curiel.
Okay.
Behind him, batting in the 2-hole was Fry.
I would expect Milam to bat 2-hole.
Milam 2-hole, okay. And so then you would have there was Milam 3-hole, Jake Brown 4, Jared Jones was 5th, Hernandez 6th, Stanny 7, Dickinson 8, Braswell 9.
Okay, what changes would you make, Mr. Smart Man? Because your brain works better than mine.
I personally would run it back.
I think you move.
Same lineup. Do it again.
Curiel, Fry, Milam. I think you move Milam to 2.
I
Brown
like the
to
construction
3,
of it.
Fry to 5, Jones to 4, Luis stays at 6. Then you run it back from there.
So you are in favor of.
I just think there's a world in which Fry needs to get going a little bit.
Right. But you're putting those 3 guys back to back to back: Fry, Jones, Hernandez.
No, Brown. I'm going Curiel.
You said Brown 3.
Curiel. Milam.
Yep.
Brown.
Yep.
Jones.
Yep. Fry, Hernandez is what you said.
Dickinson.
Okay. Because my thought process is,
Shit.
I think it's going to be the same lineup.
I'm just going to swap.
I'm just going to
swap Fry and Milam.
Just 2 and 3. Flip flop.
2 and 3.
Okay.
I'm just picking God, Jay Johnson to pick the lineup for.
There you go. Fair enough.
God, I'm sure it might be out.
I mean, whatever Jay does,
That's a good point. Let's check.
I think is going to be the right decision. Do you see Fry getting taken out of the lineup, going against a righty today, and Pearson DHing?
No, the threat of him is still terrifying.
I agree.
And he's touched a couple balls. He just hasn't had the big swing. But with the wind the way that it's blowing.
Right. That's his
Hey,
pool
we're
side.
Fry guys over here.
There we are. Fry.
I'm going to order some fries. Fries.
Yeah, we need to order some fries. We need to make sure.
I'll put them in my pocket.
Need to order some fries. I'm saying run it back with the same exact lineup: Curiel, Fry, Milam.
I'd love to know the numbers on how many times he's done the same lineup twice in a row. Probably not that often.
Probably not often. I think that.
Dickinson leadoff.
What about Milam leadoff?
I wouldn't. Milam was the only one that was
might even drop him down.
I like Curiel leadoff.
Me too. What about dropping Milam down in the lineup?
Yeah, I'm trying to move him up.
I know, but it's just the thought process of get him with more runners on in front of him.
Well, the person that bats the most in the lineup is the guy that bats 2-hole.
Right.
So I'd put Milam at 2-hole. That's why I want to move him up one spot because he's been so good, and I love Jake Brown in these kind of situations.
But what about the thought process of, like you saw with Curiel against West Virginia, where he moved down to 7 to get him on base. It was against a lefty,
right?
But to get him on base or up to the box with runners on.
Yeah, and that I mean, I've been the biggest advocate for between the 2-hole and the 7-hole of somebody that I wouldn't be mad to put Jake Brown or Jared Jones down there.
Yeah,
Stanfield's been great.
He has been,
but
I would like Stanfield back in the 9-hole.
Me too.
I would love Stanfield back. Your normal quasi leadoff guy.
You have to break those 2 up.
Can I see?
No.
Break who up?
Stanfield and Braswell. That's why Dickinson's batting 8. You still have to have an offensive threat that can leave the yard.
Yeah.
And so that's what, if you really look at it, that's why it's broken up the way that it is. Curiel, Fry can go. Milam, Brown can go.
Yep.
Jared Jones, Luis Hernandez, that's your...
Right.
That's your Manny Ramirez, Big Papi.
Yes.
You have to pitch to somebody that you have Stanfield with runners on. He's been nails all year doing that. And then you have Dickinson who can drop a bunt down, move people over. The way that this is constructed is good.
Right, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to get one more.
I get it. I'm not opposed to the flip of Milam to 2-hole.
Finally, I figured out that I knew what I was talking about real quick. It took me a second, but
I'm not opposed to the Milam at 2-hole. Just because right now he's your best.
I'm glad it's not my job.
He's the hottest bat on your team right now.
And that's why I want to get him to that spot of roll it over real quick.
Right.
First and third, nobody out. Then you have Bear Jones come up, or you have
Jake Brown behind him. You have Luis Hernandez come up.
Who can move it.
Right.
It's just It's a hard thing to do.
It is.
And you've seen him make, like, big-time changes in either win-or-go-home games or win games, where you put Cade Beloso at the top of the lineup in 2023, straight-up matchup base. So he's going to have more information than we do, as we've said all year.
Josh Pearson lead off?
Nothing would surprise me anymore. Like, I might lead off. Tanner
John
Reeves.
Pearson lead off?
John Pearson should get an at-bat. But you can't. Right. You're not taking Browsy out.
No, he's playing third base.
Unless it's I wouldn't even take him out if you're up 3-4. Like, the defense matters too much. And everybody is okay with it. And big hit by Browsy.
I think the only way that Browsy would get taken out is if it's the moment. Like I said yesterday, if it's still a righty on the mound and there's 2 runners on, 1 out or 2 outs, giving Ashton Larson the bat.
Not against it.
Like, because I feel like that's just a moment.
Yeah.
It's not of like...
It's a feel thing.
Right. And I think if that moment arises, you've heard Jay talk about it. He wants Ashton Larson in the box against a righty with runners on.
Yeah,
like, that's what's been the strategy. So, I wouldn't be surprised. But we're about to head over to the Chuck. We are about a little under 2 hours away from first pitch. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. You see all of our sponsors down here below. Shout out to Tommy G, Tom Granning of Gomart and Wardo's. Their logos down here in the middle for taking care of us, getting us to Omaha and allowing us to do all of this content here live, boots on the ground in Omaha. And then the rest of our sponsors, AJ Sports Cards on Drusilla. We've got CAS Roofing and Advising, our guy Pierce Patterson, 225-910-0619. Rangefit.com, code Tingle for 15% off. Stay hydrated. After all the celebrating you do, make sure you get some Range Fit to hydrate yourself and stay alive. And then, of course, All About Inflatables. If you want to throw a national championship party, make sure you call All About Inflatables or go to their website, allaboutinflatablesds.com, and get you a water slide, get you a bounce house, and celebrate. We will see you guys after the game tonight as LSU and Coastal Carolina face off.
Number 8.
In Charles Schwab.
LSU
8. With a chance
a water
to bring home
like so
number 8.
Right
it would
now.
be awesome.
The cool water. Ooh, the cool water.
90 feet.
It's actually 22 feet is the biggest slide. Just letting you know.
You go.
I had to put them out.
You slip once.
I worked one summer helping All About Inflatables get off the ground.
Nobody can roll up an air mattress like Noah.
I've learned well. I mean, the 22-foot.
You won't let anybody touch
it. The 22-foot American.
Get out the way.
The American Rocket.
That's the thing about Noah.
Slide.
Shush. That's the thing about Noah is he complains when people don't do stuff, but then when you try to do something, he's like, "Get out the way."
Well,
which I love more than anything.
Because
yeah,
then whenever I do give
OCD.
opportunities for other people to do things, they
like
cut
what?
They cut the video of us walking together and the audio's backwards.
Oh yeah, I tried. My laptop was dying. I was under the gun.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, so I just quit.
I just
gave up on
that
trying.
Feels like a year ago.
I know.
Oh my God.
It's been so long.
And how'd that video do? Banger.
It did well. It did well. I mean, whenever I took it down, redid it myself, and put it back up.
Yeah, I mean, I tried my best. I did make the audio better.
Yeah, I'm working on delegating some tasks. I'm working on it. It's just very hard because I like things a specific way. Turn it off. Turn the cameras off. Cut the stream. We'll see you guys tonight after the game. Go Tigers.
Tigers. Tigers.
Jacob Goff, the audio doesn't suck. Get out of here.
What?
He said, why does the audio suck on every LSU podcast?
Well, we don't do a podcast, so.
Play me my music.
There's no podcast, Jacob. Oh, look at the viewers.
I know.
Jacob Goff. Why don't you... Jacob
Yeah,
Goff, Jacob 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 Goff.